Hello, everyone, and welcome to BodyBags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I'm Lonnie from Tats, and yeah, if you've been following this week we are reviewing movies from the year 2018, and I decided to go with Unfriended, Dark Web, and okay, obviously it is a sequel to Dark or the first Unfriended, but this movie originally it was going to be called Unfriended Game Night, but apparently. Um, from my understanding, the way I heard is that Jason Bateman had a movie coming out at the same time called Game Night, and they were like, you can't call it that. So they decided to call it Dark Web. And one thing that's kind of funny, if you actually notice, in the movie, they never call it Dark Web. They always call it Dark Net. But anyway, so this movie here, it's interesting. It's the best way I can describe it. It's very meh. It's very middle. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's just kind of okay. It's you could put it on as a time waster, but I think it's definitely like if somebody said you want to watch Unfriended Dark Web or do you want to watch like Friday the 13th? Yeah, you're gonna even after you watch this movie, you're still gonna be like Friday the 13th. So I mean, it's just kind of unremarkable. You know. The story, of course, like the first Dark Web, or first Dark Web, first Unfriended, everything kind of takes place kind of like on a Zoom call. So they're using the kind of like Zoom call technology and computer technology, and it runs throughout the entire course of the film. So we're introduced to our main character, Matthias, who is talking with his girlfriend, Amaya, and she's upset with him because she's deaf, and fun fact, they actually picked a deaf actress to play the role. So there you go. There's your representation. Yeah, this movie actually has all that stuff. You have a lesbian couple in here. Um, people of color. You have like I said, you got a girl who's handicapped. She's deaf. So there you go. You got your representation in your movie. So anyway, so your main character Matthias, it turns out that he stole a laptop, and he's kind of checking it out and playing with it and stuff like this. And he gets, him and his friends, they all get on basically like a Zoom call, and they're all, they're going to do game night. And so they're playing Cards Against Humanity and stuff, and just kind of goes that way for a little bit. But then Matthias, he's looking on the computer, and then he starts getting messages and stuff like this, from this this Facebook profile called Nora C. Well, as the movie progresses, then he starts getting messages from this Charon, which you find out, not that big of a surprise, but you find out it's actually Nora C backwards, and then you realize that he's dealing with this kind of underground kind of, I don't want to say cult, but kind of like an organization, this underground organization that works on what they call the river, which is like they say but it's dark web. But like I said in the movie, they keep calling it dark net, and so Matthias, he does this crazy. One thing you're going to notice about this movie, Matthias is probably one of the most annoying idiots you've ever seen in a movie. This guy is exhausting, and he is going to irritate the living hell out of you, and like just you're watching this movie, you're like, this dipshit deserves whatever he gets. So he ends up, they talk about this girl who's missing. I think her Erica. I think that was her name. Well, anyway, so she's missing, and so he ends up stealing money, which is more like Bitcoin. He steals this Bitcoin money from them, and puts it into his own account, and this one of the people from the dark web kind of organization gets in touch with him and says, you have no idea what you're getting into, and and all this kind of stuff, and you're really screwing things up. And he's all like, I'll tell you what, he's like, all you have to do is just return the girl home safe to her family, and once you do that, once you do that, you'll get the money back. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, his friends Nari and Savina, Sabrina, I think. AJ, Lex, and I forget the other guy's name. But anyway, so they're kind of like, at first they're not really sure what's going on, but like kind of like all this is going on while he's still, you know, on call with them and everything. So they're kind of what's going on and everything. And at first he's like trying to convince them that, oh, don't worry, it's nothing. I made it all up, and don't worry about it, and all this kind of stuff. And then, uh, Amaya gets a message that she thinks is from Matthias, but it turns out it's actually from this, this Charon organization, and she's sent off to go and meet with Matthias and stuff. And her roommate comes in, and he sees, excuse me, he sees on the computer that she's sitting at the, she sits at the computer, and then these figures come in, and whenever these figures come in, they're always like glitchy, sketchy, and everything else, and kills her. And then then it kind of starts following a little bit of the same rules of the first movie. It lets him know that if anybody leaves the call, if anything goes on, your friends will die, and we got to straighten this thing out. And so eventually he's forced to have to tell them what's going on, and that Amaya is in serious trouble, that they're stalking her, and that they're closing in on her, and that that they need to basically kind of just keep the whole thing going, and they can't leave and everything. So at first they're trying to make it. They're trying to kind of like go along with it, like nothing's wrong and everything. But that doesn't last very long, and everybody kind of starts. The whole thing just starts to unravel, and so as they go along, then these Tron people come in, and one by one, the characters start getting bumped off, and you're kind of running into this race against time, where Matthias he really has to hurry if he wants to save Amaya's life, and this whole plot unravels. This movie does have some fun and interesting twists and turns, which I'm not gonna tell you what they are. I'm not gonna get into it or anything like that. That would spoil all the surprises. But yeah, so he has to. So yeah, Matthias, he has to deal with these people on the dark web, and at the same time, he's got to try to save his girlfriend and everything else. But in the meantime, the Charn organization is trying to make it out like he's the one who's behind this one girl's disappearance and stuff like this. And so yeah, so they and like I said, I think I'm explaining it too much already, so I think it's about time I just kind of shut up and let you go watch the movie. And like I said, the movie it's just okay. It's not great. It's not terrible. It feels kind of safe. There's just like I said, I think this is something I have a feeling like it's just not going to be like something like, oh, this is a movie I feel like I could watch often. Maybe once in a great while, maybe the mood might strike you to watch it, but just overall, it's just kind of there. One thing I will say though, at least because this is a Blumhouse production and stuff. Excuse me. This is a Blumhouse production and stuff, and at least it's R-rated, so at least you got that much going for it. And especially when you consider the garbage that Blumhouse has been putting out. This is definitely one of their better efforts. But, yeah, if you watch the first Unfriended really wasn't a bad movie. And even though there were parts in there I thought was just, even though it was a horror thriller and stuff like that, there were parts of that movie that just made me just guffaw. I was just laughing like hell. It's like when he finds out, like the one guy finds out his girlfriend cheated on him with the other guy and everything. And he's all like, oh my God, how many, and all this. Was it just the one time? Well, we did it a second time just to be sure. I was like, oh my God, And at the end of the movie, they're like, I love you too, and all this stuff. And, you think like most people would be like, she would be like, I love you. You'd be like, you're a skank, stuff like that. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, this actually really was not a bad film. Like I said, it's just unremarkable. And like I said, it's not offensive in any way. I could see, maybe putting this on for, something to watch every once in a while. But I mean, just I think you're always going to find yourself, there's just so many other horror movies that you're always going to be like, I would much rather watch this than this. I'd much rather watch Aliens than this. I would much rather watch Hellraiser than this. I would much rather watch The Shining than this. So it's just, I don't really see it being like, for a lot of people, I just don't see it being their go-to movie. But, I mean, like I said, it's just kind of middle of the road, not terrible, but not great either. But, yeah, I mean, if you like the first Unfriended movie, give it a shot. And I think that's one thing you'll be pleasantly surprised by, too, is like, it doesn't just, it's just not, a Xerox copy of the first movie. At least it tries to have some different elements, try to, a little bit of a different storyline, some callbacks to the first movie, not by characters or anything, but just in terms of storyline and structure. But I think you'd be a little bit pleasantly surprised by this. So I would say, yeah, if you like the first movie, get it a chance. So, but anyway, just kind of go and manage your expectations. Yeah, that's really about all I can say about it. So that's it. So if anybody took the time to watch this, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, could you please leave it a like? And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the BodyBags channel. We have a different reviewer, one for every day of the week. I'm the Friday reviewer, and more fun videos to come. And, hopefully, we're going to keep you guys entertained and keep you interested. And again, sorry if I wasn't really too like into the review and stuff like that. But just like I said, just, there are twists and turns to this movie, and I just don't really want to give it away and spoil it for everybody. So I promise I'm not just trying to be lazy. But anyway, so yeah. So take care, everybody. Have a good night. I'll see y'all later. Bye.